Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nathan Earl, and I am presenting my Tableau project for marketing management problems. My U number is U689-17650. That's U689-17650. So to begin with, we'll introduce the data set. The data set was introduced or was given to us by FIFA, which is the international governing body for soccer or European football. And the data set includes information on all of the FIFA teams or clubs, as well as players. Different demographic data, as well as all the way to information on positions, on their handling skills, levels of aggression, levels of agility, overall performance, so on and so forth. And so for my project, I really wanted to identify any themes related to aggression and agility within the clubs. So my dashboard here has seeks to demonstrate three cogent insights: most and least aggressive clubs, related to most aggressive and agile positions, and then finally aggression versus agility and overall performance. So to begin with, the basics: most and least aggressive clubs. We identified clubs in the columns, as well as the aggression, the level of aggression, average under the rows columns, and we can identify through the data, pull out the data, that Manchester United is in fact, according to these statistics, the most aggressive, or labeled the most aggressive clubs, with Derry City being the least aggressive clubs. And you can hover over each of the bars to get an actual identifying or an indicator. Next, we'll move on to most aggressive and agile positions. And what I was curious to see here is in fact a level of aggression the same as a level of agility, and in particular how they relate to individual positions on a team. And so from the data, what we're able to identify is that goalkeepers throughout as an average on all of the teams, goalkeepers have the highest level of aggression. So what I was curious to see is that would goalkeepers also have the highest level of agility, or in fact, was there a difference there? And what we found out was that there is actually a difference. So the goalkeeper level of aggression is equated to the goalkeeper being aggressive and defending a team, whereas the most agile position was actually listed as the striker position, which is primarily offense. So what we can deduce is that agility and level of agility is ranked to assertiveness and for offensive positions, where level of aggression can be more related to a defensive position, and in particular the goalkeeper position. Following up then on our the correlation between aggression and agility, we looked at the level of aggression versus agility, and then how that relates to overall performance. And what I was curious to see is, I guess if would the highest level of aggression and the highest level of agility equal the highest overall performance? And it's really not the case. It's not what the evidence or the data suggests. What I was able to identify is it is more of a strategic approach, a strategic coaching approach, and a balance between your offensive stance and your defensive stance. And so I'll take what we learned earlier in this presentation is that Manchester United was ranked as the highest level, highest performing out of all FIFA teams. And what we can see here is that their overall ranking, again, evidenced here, is the highest overall ranking, but that there's a fine line, there's a balance between their level of aggression and their level of agility, which tells me that it's not just about defending. They're not putting all of their training or resources into a defensive position and not everything into an offensive position, but more of this very defined balance here that works very well for them. But why I say that I think it's more of a strategic approach, and between the strategic approach of the particular club is because we can easily see here by the next overall performing Tottenham Hotspur that their balance is a little different. They have a higher level of agility, which means they're focusing more on their offensive stance and scoring, with a lower level of aggression. that related to their defensive position. Alternatively, Manchester City has a different makeup where they're also performing at a high level, but you can see their balance between aggression and agility and or of offense versus defense is starkly different, where they're investing more of their resources, more of their time and their training in forward striker positions, in those agile positions, with a lower amount of resources or training investing in the defensive positions for aggression. So those were the cogent insights that I identified through the data, through this FIFA data set, to see again, what was the relation between aggression and agility and overall performance between all of the clubs? Manchester United holds as the highest performing, the highest aggressive, highest ranking level of aggression, and they're also the highest level of performance. So the number one in the FIFA. We can see that goalkeepers have the highest level of aggression, while strikers in offensive positions have the highest level of agility. And then how do aggression and agility relate to overall performance? And from the data that we've been able to identify, it's more about a strategic approach and individual to the clubs, how those coaches invest their resources in training on the field, whether that in a combination of aggressive and defensive positions. And that is my presentation. Thank you very much.